Hello, my friends, and welcome to another session where we're going to Let's Talk Money. Yes.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. With the older man, he's got the wisdom, honey.
Let's get into today's subject. I am going to respond to Miss CF8865. And this is a mother. She sent me a message on YouTube, and I'm going to respond to this one because I think it's important for a lot of the young men out there. And she did respond on a subject that wasn't dealing with this particular matter. So she said, sorry to change the subject, but for your money video this week, can you do one to help young men who are just finishing their university degrees, masters, to assess their next steps, how to choose the right employer? A lot of you guys are finishing university now and need to work out what to do for the best without being overwhelmed by it all. Would be grateful if you could do this, as my son getting a lot of interviews and job offers. He's not overwhelmed, but I just want to know how to best support him. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to touch on this because I'm about to deal with a young daughter of mine who's going to be finishing off her A-levels and going to look at university now, which I'm not a fan of. But that's a whole other story that I will have to have a deeper discussion with her mother, who wants her to go to university. Just to add this short caveat, I would like for her to go to university for 2 years. I don't think I should fund any more than 2 years. Simply because most women usually don't end up in a job that require their degree. I want her to focus on finding a husband and having a family. And while she's in college studying, that should also be a focus. Keep an eye out for a good eligible man and make sure she settled down early in her prime. That is my goal. That is what I have told her she should do. But to sponsor her for 4 years, no. She will do what I did. I had to fund my own education simply because my parents couldn't afford it. And that's what I did. And that's what my wife did. Actually, I funded her master's degree. Okay? I don't think women should actually go and focus on college without focusing on finding a husband. Not just a man. Not just going there, getting your guts pound out. Going there and seriously looking at finding eligible mates. Because once you get in the real world, the pool of men goes from thousands to maybe 2 or 3 at that office that you're at. It becomes bleak. I don't want her to be in that position. And I want her to get the best man when she's at her peak attractiveness. So that's my advice for the ladies. But in this respect, I want to talk specifically to the young man that this mother's asking me about, and men who have just left college. Here's my 2 cents. Young man, you are green. You have no experience. You are now put in a position to work and prove yourself. You gotta hustle. It's going to be hard. You do not focus on women. You do not focus on getting some woman pregnant. For the next 5 years of your life, young man, your only focus is hustle. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Don't think you're going to get that corner office. You have no experience. That means you got to go into that environment, that job that you get. And if you have to freaking start, I doubt you're going to start in the mailroom, but you're going to start in a junior position. Your education don't mean shit without experience. So you have to first wrap your head around that. That is the hardest part for a lot of you college grads to deal with. You think just because you have a college degree and a piece of paper, because you passed a few tests, that you should be qualified to go out there and get that corner office. No, you got to freaking work yourself up from the bottom of the position that you're going to be put in. I remember someone explaining this to me, which really blew my mind. A company can only survive if it's making a profit. Okay? Think about this. That means that company will never, ever pay you what you're really worth. Because if it paid you what you were worth, it is not making a profit. Try to understand it this way. If the job that you're doing, a customer paid $1,000 for it, right? And the employer was paying you $1,000, that company isn't making a profit. So that company has to pay you $500 or when you're just out of school, $300 because their profit margin is the $700 that they're getting. You're worth $1,000. Just understand that. You're worth $1,000. But the problem is that if the company paying you the $1,000, they don't make a profit. So you're going to always feel, rightly so, you are not getting paid what you're worth. Do you understand that? But you have to look at it from your employer's perspective. He has to make a profit. Otherwise, the company don't exist. Now, when you come in fresh out of college, you have to realize that you don't have any experience. They now have to train you. That training requires someone to take time out of their position to actually train you. You are a liability at that point. You are a tool. You are a product, depending on how you want to look at it. And they have to sharpen that tool. They have to prime that pump. They have to make sure that you become productive enough that they could make more profits. So you have to make sure that you work your ass off so that you can actually start making these people their $1,000. Because right now, they're not going to make that off of you. So finally, after 2-3 years, you're now earning the company their $1,000. In return for that, because you now have more experience, they can say, all right, you know what? We don't have to pay him $300 anymore. Let's pay him $500. $500. Now you're getting paid 50% of what you're actually worth. Yeah. Once you get your head around that, my friend, then you will understand business. But you will never understand it until you're running your own business. That is why I couldn't stay in the corporate environment when I was younger. I started my first business at 19 because I felt like I was just going into a bank, Barclays Bank, BCCI Bank, and I was just literally wasting my life. I saw my life draining away from me. I was constantly looking at that clock. Oh Jesus, it's 4:30. Oh God, only another half an hour left to go. Oh, 10 minutes to 5. Oh God. Oh, 3 minutes. 3 minutes left. I can punch out. Oh God. Oh, 5 o'clock. Oh, I'm out. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm out. But that didn't earn me any favors. My boss looked at me and said, this guy just left. I mean, he wasn't interested in getting promoted. He's not giving me any profits at all. He's not interested in giving me any profit because I didn't care. I hated it. But understand, enjoyment isn't your first priority. It is getting experience. So sometimes you might have to give up the joy to get experience because you need to get your value up, and value only comes with experience. That's it. Education is a stepping stone. But a guy who was high school educated and learned on that job from the mailroom and learned the steps for that job right up for the last 15 years, he could probably do what you do. But you're coming in and you got your education and then you'll jump ahead of him. But he still has the experience. More than likely, this dude is going to be teaching you because now he's older. And they need to upgrade. Then he's reaching retirement and you need to freaking take over from him. You understand how this works? So all I'm trying to explain to you is be very cognizant of it with the fact that you're not all that if you don't have experience. Get it in your head. You got to put in the hours. You got to work a lot harder than you think you have to work. When you think you've worked hard enough, put in another hour for that day or for that week. Get noticed. That is a job, my friend. Then someone will notice that, wow, this young man is hustling. He's making me profits. I should pay him some more, make sure he's motivated. I need to give him X, Y, Z. And as your experience goes up and up, then that's how you succeed within an organization. The problem I see with most kids today is that they can't take hard work. They can't take the pressure. It's all about me, and equality and all of this woke bullshit. If you get that out of your head, you'll be all right. Hard work, my friends. It does not get any easier than that. And that goes for males or females. If you guys can't hustle in the beginning to get that experience, don't cry when success don't come with that company. My second piece of advice is for every single company that you join, after a while, you should always be looking at starting a side hustle, something that you're passionate about. Start it very slow. Conceive the ideas in your head. Start putting it down on paper. Start getting it together. Yes, from the first day you start your job, you should start looking at an exit strategy. Yeah. And the reason for that is you are a tool. Eventually, you're going to become obsolete for that company. There will always be a younger, more energetic, more educated, more ingenious, some guy or some girl that is better than you. In other words, you're expendable. Every single employee is expendable. And that's coming from the employee side. The other part of it is markets are constantly changing. And in today's environment with AI and new technologies coming on board, all of a sudden, more than likely, some new AI technology comes along. They look at you and say, hey, listen, we're downsizing this department and we're bringing in more AI technology. We're cutting jobs or we're cutting salaries. Which one would you prefer to do? But if you had your little side hustle already set up, you will be able to negotiate a lot harder. Third piece of information. So, number one, work hard. You're not the boss of the company. You don't mean shit to a company. You're green. Work hard. Number two, for God's sake, don't get a woman pregnant. Do not look at having a child till after 30 years old. After 30, and I mean probably 35. Okay? You have to build yourself first. That is the key. Build yourself and your net worth first. And then when you do plan to get married, make sure that you have a trust and a prenup. Standard procedure. Standard operating procedure if you ever want to get married. Make sure that's locked in, locked down, so that your hard work that you've done before you decide to get married is secured. That's the only reason I would advise a man to get married in the Western Hemisphere. Actually, anywhere in the world. Once that's done and you've locked down your assets, then you can say, look, you know what? I'll do it. I can do it. Have your kids and start your family afterwards. But before we get there, number 3. My third piece of advice, do not sleep where you eat. I would not encourage you to have any office affairs or any interaction with any of the staff at your office. Not the best place. Don't take that chance. All it takes is one accusation and you lose whatever you work hard for. Number 4, please do not buy property to live in. If you're going to buy property, make sure that you buy a piece of property that you can also rent part of it. That is paying for your mortgage. That is paying for at least 50% of the expense of that particular property. Do not buy a house just to live in. Okay? Number 4. Do not buy a brand new car. Just because you can get it doesn't mean that you can afford it. Get a nice, reliable, second-hand car and just deal with that. Next 5 to 10 years. Make sure that you hold on to that paid-for car for 10 years. I'm telling you, my friend, you don't need a car to impress a woman. If she's impressed because of your car, you got the wrong woman. She should be impressed by you. And how smart you are, how wise you are for saving money. If a woman can't appreciate you for that, nope, not the right woman. Even though, Mom, you're asking me about the work, the best I can tell you is once your son got a job, it's no longer about him. It's basically he's at the mercy of a boss, right? And that was the best advice up front I could give him. After that, it's all about life skills. I'm assuming that he doesn't have a father in his life, and that's why you're asking me. But this is the advice I would give all boys, all young men getting into the workplace and starting a life. So if you guys have some questions that you want me to cover, by all means, I will do so. Okay, guys? So until next time, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.